Welcome to Generations, a show which helps people 50 and better lead happy, healthy, and productive lives. Here's today's moderator, Nadia Giordana.
Welcome to Generations, the Roundtable Edition. I'm Nadia Giordana. My co-hosts today are starting with Diane Winkler. Hi, Diane.
Hi, I think this is absolutely wonderful. I love to learn.
It's going to be wonderful. And Ellie Freed.
Hi, I'm glad to be here also.
And Karen Risette.
Yes, I think this program's going to be very interesting. We're lucky to have someone from the Optimists Club.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating too. And Jeri Gorman is here. Jeri is our special guest. She's with the Optimists Club. Jeri, could you start by telling us a little bit about this organization?
I'd love to. The St. Paul Optimist Club is a local chapter of Optimist International. So we're an international organization that's been around since 1919. Our club is in its 92nd year. How about that? I wanted to give you a little bit of information about Optimists International first, and like what they consider their mission, etc. Optimists International is a worldwide volunteer organization made up of over 2,500 clubs around the world. Members work each day to make the future brighter by bringing out the best in kids, bringing out the best in communities and in themselves. Our mission is providing hope and positive vision. Optimists bring out the best in kids, kind of a repeat of that whole idea of best in kids. And then the vision of the organization is to be recognized as a premier volunteer organization in America that values all children and helps them develop to their fullest potential. I've always said, wouldn't you like to be a part of a group like that? You know what I talk about. So that's the international. To go on is we have 11 local clubs in the Twin City area, and I'm in the St. Paul Optimist Club, as I said, 92nd year. We're one of the older ones. Actually, the Minneapolis Club is about 6 months older than we are. We meet twice a month at Town and Country Golf Course. We have speakers that help us learn about what's going on in our community, or we have students from local schools come and talk to us, or we talk about what we're doing and what we're going to be working on next. And we try to accomplish the mission of the Optimist organization by the programs that we do for kids in St. Paul.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love the idea of the focus on kids. I think that's a wonderful way for the group to go. And so they have different programs, contests. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that they do specifically for kids.
Oh, I'd love to. The Optimist International Organization has some cookbook programs for every one of their clubs to choose from. But you don't have to do that. That's one thing I like about Optimists International, and they're not saying you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. They allow their clubs to determine what's important and what's needed in your community. And each of us determine what we want to do for kids in our community. So some of it's based on our resources or what's lacking or whatever. We're right now helping organizing a club in St. Paul's Highland area that's going to work only in the area of diversity and working with the whole question of kids and helping them understand diversity, and parents, and there's a club on the east side that is devoted to sandlot baseball, bringing it back. So everybody can do something different. Now, what our club has chosen to do is a combination of some of the Optimists International programs as well as our own. One of the things that we do that's our premier program is every November we recognize 15 seniors in St. Paul high schools, who have overcome adversity and excel in their academics as well as their work in the community and their extracurricular activities. That's called our Youth Appreciation Dinner. And those 15 students receive a $1,500 scholarship from our club. That's the way we start our year, and our year starts in October, just so, so November's our first program. We work with Face to Face, which is moving into a new location. This past week in downtown St. Paul, they work with homeless youth in St. Paul. And we do a number of things like collect socks, underwear, towels, toiletries, and a few of us are now looking at volunteering down there also. So, you know, that's how, when we start working with these organizations or these groups around town, then a few of us say, oh, I want to work there. I want to find more out about that organization. We work with Jeremiah program where we provide meals. We prepare the meals as well as present them, serve them at the Jeremiah House in St. Paul, or Jeremiah program in St. Paul. I have to think a little bit.
Well, there's freedoms within the groups, aren't there? Different groups can have different freedoms to make the choices of the things that they want to do, and partly because the communities have different needs. Would that be right? Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
That group, home for homeless teens, well, they're 11 to 17 or something. That just opened, didn't
It
it?
just opened this week
I
in
just saw it
downtown
on-
St. Paul.
I saw
That's
it on the
right.
news.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and anyone can help out at that particular location. We took it on as a mission, wanting to work with kids in our community, and who needs help? Street kids that don't have homes.
Yeah.
So we've actually done a food drive for their food bank. We've, you know, as well as the ongoing collecting socks and underwear and toiletries for them. Some of the programs I want to also mention that are scholarship programs, and those are Optimist International programs. They're all, the grand prizes are scholarships as much as $2,500 up to $20,000, and that's a writing scholarship, a speaking contest, and a contest for deaf and hard of hearing students too.
Oh, interesting.
And then the other program that I've taken to as one of mine is their childhood cancer program. And we have banks around the Twin Cities where we collect funds, and the funds go then to whatever programs we identify as wanting to support. And our big one is the University of Minnesota, they call it Masonic Hospital, and their cancer program, which is their Care Partners, if you've ever heard of their Care Partners and what they do. They work with parents and children who are being treated for cancer. So that's a big one close to my heart, and I'm the chair, I guess you'd call, of that.
Do you know what's interesting about that? That you can really focus in on something that you are particularly interested in. That is taking the energy from the volunteer and letting that volunteer express that energy rather than dictating to people, this is what you have to do. And I think that's brilliant, because I'm sure you get a lot more energy naturally coming from people when they're doing what they want to do.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to learn from somebody who's really motivated and dedicated to a topic, and so when you pick a topic like that or a subject like that, you're really motivated and dedicated to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the international organization is really a worldwide organization. Do you know, is it in how many countries it's in, or just international in general?
The primary number of clubs are in Canada and North America, but there are in the Far East, in Europe. During Desert Storm, they started a club on the battlefields, which is, I mean, that just
Great place.
Yeah,
Yes.
and to work with the kids in that area to help them out. Where else are they? Far East, I think that's pretty much where I'm.
You know, this might be a good point. There's a creed. Could you read for us
Oh.
the Optimist creed.
The Optimist Creed, I think, is one of the best creeds of any nonprofit volunteer organization that's out there. I hope you like it. I love it. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile, to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble.
Oh, beautiful.
Isn't that nice?
Yes.
It covers
Very.
everything.
There's some really good ones in there.
We end every meeting with that creed, and it's a very nice way to start your day. So
yes.
you kind of leave that meeting after thinking about what we're going to be what we're planning on and what we're going to be working on, and then you have this very motivational creed.
I especially
yes.
like the one where you're working on yourself. When you spend enough time working on yourself that you don't have time left to criticize others. That one really resonates.
In our society, and so much of what we read now, even locally as well as internationally, of course, is focused on a lot of these kind of troublesome issues between different groups of people. So your diversity, message, and working with kids on that, I think, is so incredibly important. And, we hear so much now about achievement gaps and economic gaps and racial gaps in our society that impede people from making the progress in their lives that they would like to make. And this, I think, makes it an individual commitment to do the most you can with what you got and keep moving.
Absolutely. And what impresses me is you're working for children, that's your goal mainly. But this has got to be a motivator for all the adults who are in the group.
It totally is.
Yeah.
But I have to add, you don't have to all be optimistic to be an optimist.
Really?
You can do it. You can join a club just to do the kind of volunteer things, but you don't have to share the vision of being, like, we have friends that call us happy people. You don't have to all be happy people necessarily, but I think it permeates into everyone, that you sort of become like-minded, and you feel that emotion of positivity as you leave or are part of leave the meetings or are part of a club meeting.
When I think of optimism, I think of hope. I don't see how you can separate those two. And, optimism comes from the greatest, the best goal, the best outcome. And hope just sort of brings joy to people. It's even if you're not an optimist, if you have hope that this organization is going to meet its goal and help these kids and all that,
It is just fabulous because you're talking about hope. How many times a day do we say, well, I hope supper's ready, I hope, we use it all the time, and we don't even realize sometimes
How important that word
how
really is.
important, very important that is.
well, I read a quote by someone, a psychologist, who said that we often confuse hope with wishing. And I think
Yes.
wishing
You're right.
is kind of a passive
Wait.
thing, I wish that would be okay, or I wish they'd win that game. But hope is more trust. It's in the Bible, it's connected with trust. And in Christian religions, it's one of the virtues, the faith, hope, and charity.
And it is more optimistic too, isn't it?
It is. If you're hopeful, I think you are going to work to achieve that thing that you have hope in.
Right, that's true.
So,
Gives you
but
something to think about,
Yeah.
something that you can work on.
Mhm.
It's wonderful, it is. It's
I don't really care if dinner is ready or
You know, I can remember raising my children and reminding them that when some troublesome events were coming up, that if they assume the best is going to happen, they know backing up if they have to, and something worst happens, they've got the skills and the strength to deal with it. But going forward into a situation that you expect to be challenging, it's better to assume the best outcome.
So that is optimism also,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
assuming a better outcome.
And I still tell my adult children that from time to time.
good. I do too. I also use the words sweep in front of your own doorstep.
I think that too.
And that usually catches them.
What are some of the reasons that people join the Optimist Club?
It's funny, a lot of them joined because of this creed. Have-
I can see that.
They visited the club, they like the people, obviously. You know, not that we're all perfect, but we are, you know, nice, it's a nice organization to be a part of. And so they like that feeling. And then working with youth, working with people in St. Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do some of the projects carry over year to year?
In fact, just about everything I mentioned is an ongoing. We just started a new project that we haven't completed yet, and that's working with a poetry class at Central High School that wanted to publish, the teachers wanted to publish the poems of all the children, the students, and they couldn't afford it, they didn't have the budget for it, so they asked us if we would help them, and so we're paying to have the publication done, and then we're also going to have a reception for the students and their parents, and they can do readings and, you know, just give them an recognition for what they've done, their words and how
That's so
important they are.
important. That is so much, because everybody needs that pat on the back. And when it's such an important thing, it really makes good sense.
It's like being a booster club.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
It's harder and harder to get face-to-face time with young people these
Yes.
days. It really is, because everybody's concerned about children's safety,
Yes.
as we are too. And so a lot of what we do is behind the scenes. We raise money, we help, you know, pass on things. But if we want to do face-to-face, you have to fill out the forms for volunteering and be checked. And I did tutoring through St. Paul schools, and you have to be fingerprinted, and, you know, I mean,
Oh,
so
I
it's,
didn't know
we
that.
want to be sure kids are safe.
Yeah.
So as a general group, we just don't do a lot of face-to-face with young people, but we help.
Well, that's
Oh,
good. You know, when we
big
were
time.
doing all our things in the winter carnival for all the kids in all the schools, and about 2.5 years ago, the people came and said, "Where's your ID picture?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't have an ID picture." So that was written in to where we just can't walk into a school and think we are welcome unless we have just exactly that reason. So that has helped. It helps because the kids don't realize it's a safety thing, but the parents sure do.
Yeah, parents do.
Do you ever do any coaching of the children in their public speaking contests and so on? Sort of give them some instruction and some idea of how to do that better?
Actually, we worked with Creative Arts High School downtown. We had a real good supporter there who brought us in with the kids, and we helped them on the oratorical contest that we were doing, and supported the ideas of their ideas, as well as we really want you to participate in this, and letting them know how important it is for us to hear their words and hear what they have to say about the subject matter. So we did some coaching there, and then we also are doing actually the coaching next week with our winner that is going on to the next the district contest, and we're meeting with her to help her out in these last few weeks before the contest. And so we do, and that is so helpful.
Fantastic, yeah.
Plus, I have a degree in education, and I was in theater, and so to me, it's really great to get back out in there and help some students with stage presence and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
This book that the students at Central are doing, will that be available to the public?
I don't believe it's public. It's through the school and through the students and the parents.
Oh,
I saw what they did a couple of years ago. It's pretty impactful. It's powerful.
yeah, I got a book, I don't know where it came from. It was at a garage sale or something, a book of poetry that was done by a number of schools.
Mhm.
And it was so emotional for me to read that about those kids. It was a wonderful book, so I think you'll really enjoy that.
What about for seniors? Talking about positive thinking and how we can apply it to ourselves in the golden years, as they call them.
Don't you think that as you age, you're faced with some unpredictable things, some things you didn't expect, some things that maybe you did expect, but if you dwell on that, you know that it's going to be more troublesome to you than if you can move past the worrisome part of it. So I think being optimistic and assuming the best is going to happen or come out of a situation or a condition or your age-related activities, you're going to have a lot easier time dealing with some of those extra challenges that come along.
Yeah, you're probably right. Even regardless of whether you belong to a club that helps you in being around people who are optimistic, if you've learned throughout a lifetime, hopefully we've learned the lessons that help us to keep a positive attitude, like you just said.
Yeah, it's really important for your health.
It is.
Without it,
Sometimes-
depression is a big thing for a lot of older
Oh,
people.
just so much. And if you want to dwell on that, then you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Because you can look around you at your friends and your people and think, maybe I could help them today. Maybe I could do something good today. And I do that every morning when I wake up.
That's an important point, helping someone else.
Yep, I'm going to do this today. I can't say that I 100% do it, but I sure try.
Do you have copies of your creed?
I do.
Oh,
I'd love to
wonderful.
share them with you.
I'd love to hang
And
one
it
in
would be something, I think it really does help your day when you,
Yeah.
it's sort of like a meditation almost, that you think of these things that you'd like to do and help you move towards that goal. And I
Gives you
will
the-
give you each one of those.
Yeah, it gives you the right mindset to start your day. I mean, it's going to kick off your mindset, start thinking positive. I love what you said, Diane, about thinking about who am I going to help today? Whose life can I make a little bit better? Because when you're focusing on someone else, you're lifting yourself up at the same time.
Oh, I totally agree, yes. Those are the things that we live by,
Yep.
and then we don't start the day with a real growly look or an unhappy statement. We start to help.
And you have to be positive and be cognizant of doing that.
That's
of
right.
Not just getting up and getting dressed and,
Right.
Since I
Agree.
approached retirement, I was looking for something new to be engaged in, and I got involved in the Vital Aging Network. And I've done a lot of volunteer work with older adult groups and focusing on art, which I had a strong interest in. And I found that I was anticipating really, really good outcomes from my involvement with older adults and reflecting on the fact that, I'm moving in that direction now too, and I want to know all about it and all about what makes people happier in their older years.
Exactly. And there are people that don't see the sunny side of anything. And everything is kind of a grumble, and it's just like you don't really want to talk to someone like that because you want to be able to lift them. So you work on it and just hope they're listening.
Yeah, that makes a big difference, if you can help bring someone else's attitude up too, if they don't have it. And then, there are days when we wake up and it just doesn't feel, you don't feel as positive or as optimistic. And I think reading that creed first thing in the morning would give an
yes.
uplift to almost anybody.
Yes, I think that's wonderful.
Well, ladies, you have just been fantastic here today. Diane, thank you for joining us in this episode.
Thank
And
you for having me.
Yes. And Ellie, you've been a treat. And Karen,
Thank you.
I enjoyed
and
it.
thank you for coming on the show and telling us all about the Optimists
It
Club.
was my pleasure, and I'd like to invite you each to attend a meeting with me and be my guest at breakfast.
Oh, that could be wonderful
I would
fun.
love to have you all come and hear one of our meetings.
Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Generations.